This short video will introduce you to the Student Learning Objectives portion of the Wisconsin Educator Effectiveness Model. If you haven't seen the overview video yet, we highly recommend viewing that prior to viewing this slideshow. The link to that page is at the bottom of this slide. The design team, of which WEAC was a member, generated a core set of guiding principles. An educator evaluation system must deliver information that guides effective educational practice aligned with student learning and development, documents evidence of effective educator practice, documents evidence of student learning, informs appropriate professional development, informs educator preparation programs, supports a full range of human resource decisions, is credible, valid, reliable, comparable, and uniform across districts. Workgroups used these guiding principles as they crafted the educator practice and student performance components of the Educator Effectiveness Program. In the Educator Effectiveness Model, teacher evaluation is split into two parts. 50% of teacher evaluation will be based on teacher practice, and 50% will be based on student outcomes. Due to WEAC advocacy, the student outcomes portion consists of multiple measures of student performance. One of those measures is the student learning objective. Teachers will be required to write one or more student learning objectives. The acronym SLO has two meanings within the DPI Educator Effectiveness Model. Building administrators will write school learning objectives focused at the school level. Teachers will be writing student learning objectives. Links can be made between school and other SLO goals. Teachers may have an impact on school learning objectives that are written by their principals. While teacher-specific SLOs should not be dictated by the school or district, they may reference school improvement goals or other initiatives. Specific student learning objectives within educator effectiveness are within a teacher's control. While intended to give educators some flexibility in choosing what student performance will be used in their evaluation, local vigilance should work to assure high quality and rigorous student learning objectives are written. Student learning objectives should be collaboratively developed by the teacher within his or her school district. SLOs can be written by teams, grade levels, curricular groups, or individual teachers. They must be an agreed-upon measure by teachers and administrators that move students toward mastery of applicable and essential content or skills. SLOs must be rigorous and meet the SMART criteria. They need to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. They should be broad and meaningful and informed by district and school goals, Common Core state standards, and 21st century skills. Finally, they should be data informed and based on available assessment data. The Educator Effectiveness Model includes many steps to the student learning objective process. At all times, the work that we do to drive our professional learning should come from what we observe as our students' needs. This information can come from a number of sources and be linked to other activities and initiatives, such as response to intervention and school improvement plans. The cycle of student learning objective composition and implementation should be conducted over an appropriate timeline and involve a number of steps where you as an educator should take control. While most SLO goals will be for a year's time, some may be for a quarter or a semester. The number of SLOs that you will write will depend on the grade and the subject you teach. At this point, expect to write at least 2 SLOs. You should begin by identifying an area of need. This may come from an analysis of student portfolios, work samples, observations, formative and summative information, performances, or productions. Once you've done that, you'll need to construct your SLO goal. This goal has a number of components that you'll have to incorporate. You have to consider the learning content of the goal, what population you're targeting, timelines and intervals, your assessment strategies, and finally, your student growth target. Another critical component of the SLO goal asks you to identify strategies and support you need to fulfill the goal. This is your opportunity to spell out the kinds of professional learning you feel you will need to be successful. You may also want to consider linking your SLO goal to goals that you wrote for the teacher practice side of the educator effectiveness model. You could also incorporate your SLO goals and evidence in your own professional development plan that you write for licensure renewal. Following your SLO construction, you should plan to conduct baseline measures or gather baseline information to be used in your goal. Once you've constructed your SLO, review it with your administrator. Together, you and your evaluator review and agree on your goal or goals. As you continue teaching, you will monitor student performance and progress toward achieving your SLO. You might collect evidence of interim progress and use it in your midpoint review. The same evidence might also be useful for your educator effectiveness plan or professional development plan. You may also use your evidence to identify students who need assistance and refer them through the response to intervention process. Midway through the period of your SLO goal, you should schedule and conduct a midpoint review of your students' progress with your administrator. This is the time that the two of you would agree on any adjustments that might be necessary. Be sure to conduct an end-of-term data collection that measures your students' growth. At the end of your SLO term, you meet with your administrator to review the outcomes of your SLO goal and complete the scoring process. Monitoring and collecting evidence of student growth will be visible signs of your contribution to improving the quality of instruction your students receive. All SLO goals will be contextual and may differ from school to school and even class to class. But here's one example. This is an SLO goal for second grade writing. The goal: second grade students will write a descriptive paragraph by May of the school year as evidenced by all students making 35% or more growth from the baseline paragraph as measured by teacher-made rubrics. Student performance on the WKCE triggered a need to target written language skills. In constructing the SLO, a teacher-developed rubric administered to gather baseline information was used. The baseline: there were poor writing samples flagged for attention by low WKCE scores. So in this SLO, the learning content will be descriptive writing. As we look at the other components of the SLO goal, you'll see that the population targeted is the entire second grade class. The interval will be the entire school year. Determining whether the SLO goal was met will be based on the evidence produced by re-administering the writing task and assessing the student's work with the very same rubric. The second grade team is setting the target that all students will show 35% growth in their ability to write descriptive paragraphs. As you see, the SLO goal generally systematically records a process you already engage in while improving student performance. Generally, SLOs are intended to emphasize growth and progress from a baseline measurement. You might use growth goals for students with special needs, special subject areas like writing, drawing, and physical skills acquisitions. Attainment SLOs require students to demonstrate a specific skill or knowledge set. SLOs that are attainment goals must include a meaningful way of knowing where students are at the beginning of the SLO term. The critical feature of a mastery or attainment goal is that it needs to have a defined, appropriate baseline measure of student learning. You might use attainment models for skill-based, content-based areas or higher levels of education. Remember, part of the process in constructing a student learning objective includes identifying the strategies and support that you will need as an educator. Be sure to think about what assistance you'll need as a professional to complete your SLO. Do you need a refresher on formative assessments? Time to observe others in your grade level to get a new teaching idea? Time to meet with light content teachers? Always remember you are in charge. Speak up for yourself and for your students. What are some things you can do to prepare for educator effectiveness? Team up with your colleagues. Practice writing SMART goals and SLOs. Understand your role and responsibilities in the cycle of activities. Check out the DPI website on educator effectiveness for more details and resources. It's very important to start now. You don't have to be in the pilot system to analyze your students' needs, identify a student learning goal, and go through the SLO writing process. Teach your students. Use their performance to direct your instructional planning. Where to from here? Make sure you know what resources are available to you at a district level and what resources you'll need to make this evaluation model successful. Access to professional development and the time for both planning and reflection will be critical in this side of the evaluation. Plan local activities. Information is power. Learning about this educator effectiveness system can take away some of the stress of the unknown and help you and your colleagues meet these challenges together. Team up with your colleagues. Sharing what you know and what you have learned helps you and others, and can surface common issues as well as strengths. As you work together on issues, celebrate those areas of strength. This process is about recognizing good teaching, not just improving overall instruction. Watch for SMART goal training being offered by WEAC and UNISERV offices in your area. Most importantly, ask for help. WEAC, through our diverse network of educators, has members who are very comfortable with the Danielson frameworks, with writing SMART goals, and videotaping classroom observations. Use your union network as an extended professional learning community.